Or mites. This is an episode of Will It Pyrolysize. I know it's been a long time, like a couple months, but we're finally back. And today, as I promised that time ago, we're doing packing peanuts. Now, I know what you're probably saying, bro. You just did styrofoam like the other day. First of all, let me tell you, look at them, mate. Look at the shape. Look at the size. These look different, therefore they are different by the laws of Jab. It's that simple, so shut up, alright? And second of all, this is what won the votes on Will It Pyrolysize. It was this, and then e-waste. So we're going to do these first. Now I actually have, I would say, quite a small amount of them here. You know how life is. When you actually want something, then you can barely find it. But let's go ahead and weigh it. So it just ended up being 0.48 pounds. Next, we need to add a catalyst so the styrofoam will absorb microwaves. In this bucket here, I have this very dark material. This is carbon from previous pyrolysis reactions. This is usually all that's left of whatever we put in there, no matter what it is. So we got 0.48 pounds. So we're going to put 0.24 pounds of this in there. 0.24. There's a couple other catalysts I like to add. This is lime or calcium oxide. It's an alkaline product, so it will react with any potential acidic compounds that form in the pyrolysis process. There we go. And we're gonna go ahead and add this in this box. Next catalyst I add is this kitty litter, or is clay, and this adsorbs to some potential toxic products as well. It also aids in the formations of oils, helps the microwaves not concentrate in just a singular area of the styrofoam. Last catalyst I add is this iron oxide. You could say this is the waste product of angle grinders used on steel, carbon steel. So it is an iron-based magnetic product, and the magnetic properties of this actually create super hot spots within the microwaves, which allow for adequate breakdown of the material. Now we're just going to shake it up. Let us go ahead and load the styrofoam in this reactor. Alright, now that we've got the styrofoam in there, before we can start the reactor, we need to push out all the oxygen. So there's no oxides that form, or dioxins. So let's do that with argon. Now, I don't know what's wrong with my argon, but when I turn it on, it makes a really loud noise, but it still works, so I really don't care. Oh, this seems to just... Never mind. For piss sakes. Alright, let's see, make sure all the oxygen is out. It does form a little flame there. That lets us know that pretty much all the oxygen is out, because it didn't go back and cause an explosion. But there's obviously some flammable gases still in there. That's not an issue. We're only going to be forming more flammable gases. So let me turn this loud-ass, stupid Alright, now let's go ahead and turn her on. So after about 20 minutes of being on, come down here to this gas output. We see flammable gases are being formed, so we will go ahead and hook this up to a yoga ball. Let's go ahead and spin the internal blades. One hour and 25 minutes into the run, got an absolutely full to the brim yoga ball. Good gas production. So we just hit the 5-hour mark. Very little flammable vapors. We're going to have it going forward. There they are. We're gonna give it another 30 minutes to an hour, and I want to see how much further we get. This third magnetron at the end here is turned completely off, so we only have these two turned on. Therefore, we want the plastic more pushed towards the edge. 5 hours and 25 minutes. The gas production has finally stopped, and I know that because when I open this pressure release valve, no visible gas comes out. No visible pyrolysis gas. So, looking at this carbon product here, as you can tell, there's a lot of carbon, and this is actually because I did a bad job of cleaning the reactor before I put the styrofoam in there. So, unfortunately, the weighing will be very inaccurate. But in terms of the carbon of the styrofoam, we can see it did hold its shape. But unfortunately, there are still some heavy oils or tars within the carbon. As you see, when I crush it up, it kind of sticks together like dough. So I believe this is a result of not enough agitation. As I had these packing pellets in the reactor, I was actually on a live stream, so I kind of was occupied and I forgot to agitate it as often as I should. So they kind of, there was not any bit of styrofoam that wasn't carbonized, but they weren't truly broken down. So ignore the weight because the weight went up by a whole 5 pounds because I forgot to clean out the reactor properly. But the good thing is that we did see, yes, styrofoam does pyrolyze. Let's take a look at the oil. This oil smells very spirity, like alcohol-y, like it, it has the pyrolysis smell to it, but it also has a, like almost like, like this, how acetone kind of smells, like it has like that in the background. It's like alcohol-y. Let's see how she burns. Put a little bit on there. So I don't feel like having this thing burn for 5 minutes like it normally does. Putting all that soot everywhere. A little soot slut, right? So just like all the rest. Catches easily, burns well, burns for a while too. And we got around 350 mil of this oil. Now in my last video, I showed this air conditioner, Window Air's AC compressor I recently got. And I was telling you guys how I'm going to modify it to where I can use this to compress the pyrolysis gas from yoga balls. So I was in the middle of soldering on these connections to the copper pipes that are on here. And in the middle of soldering it, I was like, ah, shit. Did I leave the oven on? I forgot to record, bro. I forgot to record me doing it, and I was already like too far into it where it would just be like kind of stupid. So basically what I did is I just soldered on some brass fittings to the end of the copper pipes, and then I just put on some quick connect fittings on this one, and then a barb connect on this one. So this is the suck side, this is the push side, so it pushes the gas which goes into a desiccator, and then it sucks the gas with this pipe here into this yoga ball. So I'm going to go ahead and suck this yoga ball dry so we can get the weight of a empty one and then compare that to the weight of a full one. In terms of how this works, it's way more powerful than the other compressor I was using. Just for reference, this was the other compressor I've been using for the past year pretty much. And this is the new one. You can see it's built different, it's bigger. And I'll turn it on. You can just tell by how they sound, how powerful this one is in comparison. This little piece of tape here. See, it blows it pretty good. Nothing crazy, but so you can hear the difference. It's a lot louder, and look at how much it blows that tape in comparison to before. So this thing is definitely a lot stronger. Now, people have asked me, am I worried that this is going to die or something because it doesn't have the oil or the refrigerant to lubricate it? Well, when the refrigerant is in here, first of all, it's a gas anyway. It's not even a liquid, for one. And for two, they actually have oil within them already. I actually usually add my own compressor oil to them. But like I told you before, I've been using this thing for almost a year now, and it still works. And hey, for me, worst come to worst, if this does break, I got this for completely free. I just get another one from another air conditioner window unit that's just at the scrapyard. Solder on the new fittings, and hey, we're good, you know. So a completely empty yoga ball. 5.32 pounds. Full yoga ball. 5.26 pounds. I don't know if my scale is broken or what, but somehow when it's full it weighs less than when it's empty. So that literally makes 0 sense. That follows zero of any of the laws of anything. So clearly something is something is wrong, obviously. Let me try without zeroing out the scale with the bucket. It's gonna make it harder to balance the things on there, but you know that's what's causing the glitch and this weight. You know, I gotta kind of hold it by hand, so it won't be as. Dang it! There's no way I can just have this whole thing on here without that bucket to kind of help, right? There ain't no way. Ain't no way I need that bucket to zero it out. I mean, I can kind of hold it like that. And plus some of my weight will be on there. 4.13 pounds. I don't know how accurate this is going to be with me doing it this way. So take this with a grain of salt. Looks like it's around the 5.13 range. About 5.13. So it gained about a pound. Now, of course, that's with me weighing it literally the worst way possible. But I feel like it's actually kind of realistic. A pound, that makes sense. So we have one yoga ball, and one yoga ball is equivalent to 1 pound of the gas in there. Now let's assume, for easy of operation, that this gas in there is methane. So this is 1 pound of methane, pretty much, right? So now we know we're assuming that it's methane, 1 pound of methane. So 1 mole of methane is the equivalent of 16.043 grams. There's 453 grams in 1 pound. So we got to go ahead and divide that 453.592 grams by the amount of grams per mole of methane, and we end up getting 28.27 mole per pound. Now, there's 890.4 kilojoules per mole of combusted methane. So, take that 28.27 mole per pound times the 890.4 kilojoules per mole, and we get 25,171.608 kilojoules. So you convert those kilojoules into kilowatt hours, and we get 6.99 kilowatt hours per yoga ball. Now, once again, this is assuming that not only was my weighing and my scale proper, but also that every type of gas in this yoga ball is equal or more energy content than methane. So all of these things put together probably will come out to be wrong. And of course my math has to be right as well. So don't take this to the grave. But anyway, we take that 6.99, we multiply it by 3, because on average I get 3 yoga balls per 5-hour run. And a 5-hour run of my reactor is 22 kilowatt hours, and we get 20.97 kilowatt hours, meaning that we're recovering over 90% of the energy in the gas product alone in this process. Now, like I said, don't take this to the grave because my math may be wrong. The actual yoga ball calculations may be wrong. The weighing may be wrong. But this is just a reference point, right? If it were a pound in there and all the things had an equal or higher energy content than methane, this is what it would look like, right? But I would be confident in saying that even if we're not this close to breaking even, I would say that we're pretty close. You know, even if my math was horribly wrong, we're covering at the very least, at least 10 kilowatt hours of electricity from the gas product alone.